TikTok. It's time to rock. Welcome to the midweek rundown on the channel, guys. Do you like that? Other channels call it a hangout. Other people call it a hang, Brad and Simon. But we call it, if it's not Brad and Andrew, the bro down, it's a rundown.
It's a rundown. Does that mean we're all run down a little bit, or does it just mean we're, that's a hangout, the rundown?
We have an executive board meeting.
The problem is, Simon. The problem is, Simon. There's no executives here.
No,
I am. I'm an executive.
Well, I'm talking about on the channel, not in real life, Simon. I'm talking about on the channel.
T-boy on the channel.
Yeah, you got it. Here we go. We got John in the chat. Good to see. Thanks, Brad, the backdoor man, for jumping on, bro. It's always a pleasure. And the Rock Professor, you guys are awesome for jumping on for this midweek show. We didn't do a show last weekend. We had some things that we had to do, but we've got some good news. Brad and I are going to be back on the channel together on Sunday. If you're watching on replay, please, folks, I have to do this. I've got to do this. We've got to do this as the housekeeping part of the channel. Please subscribe to our channel and our friends' channels. It's really easy. It's on our channels page there. In particular, I'd like you to subscribe to Brad, the backdoor man, who has a YouTube channel, and the Rock Professor and Brad on Instagram. Here they are. Easy peasy Japanesey.
Too easy. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, guys.
Not too easy.
I'll attach Brad's YouTube channel on this description if you want to go and check him out. That'll be great. But Brad's got some interesting information to pass with us, and the Rock Professor's got some factoids that's going to blow everybody away, including Brad and I, because we don't even know what it is. So we look forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it because when Simon chuckles backstage and doesn't tell us what it's about, I get a little bit worried, Andrew. I sweat a little bit,
So do I.
completely music related. Don't panic.
I'll put it this way, Simon. If it was Andrew saying he's going to throw a bomb on us, I'd be really sweating. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be worried too, bro. But yeah, good to see you guys. And we've got some good, cool cats hanging out here in the chat. And the Rock Professor will give you guys a shout out soon. Our quorum for a shout out is 10. But if we don't get there, he'll always shout out.
Anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna get a high. Guys, I suppose the first thing we should do when we're doing this midweek rundown, Brad, is talk about the album that we're going to do, you and I, and we're going to have no Rock Professor because he's going to another channel.
No.
Well,
apparently they've
I'm going to Mid Wales, which is not a different channel. It's nearly a different country. In fact, although Wales is a principality, I'm going to have a jolly evening with some people I went to university with. One of whom, Kate, lives in Australia. She lives on the Gold Coast. So she's come over to see her parents. So we're all getting together, 4 or 5 of us.
Sounds lovely, Simon. Yeah. Sounds lovely. Always good to catch up with people like that. Oh, hello, Pepper.
Hello, Pepper.
Hey, the channel dog.
I wish I had a ball I could throw, and it just went magically from Australia to New Zealand straight. Like...
Oh dear.
Yes.
I went to my brother's work yesterday my brother makes cricket bowling machines, for those of you, and he's just opened this new kind of cricket school, so you can go and hire a bowling machine for half an hour and practice your on drives if you want to, or whatever. But his daughter works there, and she's got a mad dog, so she's in this room on her own with this fence halfway across the thing, with the dog and her inside the fence. Keeping them all in.
Yes. Awesome.
That's it. Morning, feisty feather.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen. So yeah, Andrew, you were talking about the album we're going to do this week, which
Yeah.
is an awesome one. We've decided to do a modern day album, contemporary album that's come out for a change.
By
So
Yeah.
Upset.
yeah, so it's fairly new and fresh. So for our listeners that haven't investigated or checked it out, please do so. It's on Spotify at the moment, and all your streaming platforms. It's called "The Wolves Are Coming" by Philip Sayce, the mighty Philip Sayce, and really looking forward to this one, guys. Even though you won't be with us, Simon, but hopefully you'll get a chance to have a listen to the album if you haven't already done so, Simon.
I haven't already done so. It's
Yeah.
no, but yeah. What we're talking contemporaries this year. It's only just come out. It's not
This year, that's right.
Yeah,
And
2024.
yeah, it's not long come out. Like a couple of weeks ago, I think it came out, and
Yeah.
so we're really looking forward to that. And we are still in talks with Philip about coming on the show at some point. He's got a very busy schedule, so we just got to
Yeah.
work in with him, and we're more than happy to fit him in wherever he can squeeze in. 40 minutes to an hour with us, that'd be amazing. But yeah, guys, do your homework, check it out. It's a killer album. The more I listen to it, the more I'm hearing it opens up. The more you listen to it, the more it opens up, Andrew and Simon. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. And it's very diverse too, sounding wise. Like there's some more funkier stuff, there's some more rockier stuff, there's a couple of heavier songs, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, in my opinion, him and Derek Trucks would be up there as far as the young guitar players. If you get what I mean, as outstanding, incredible guitar players. For me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Philip embraces everything and that whole tradition that we talk about, Brad and Simon, and he's not shy about that, but he's got that contemporary edge that's really, really important. And then you've got Derek Trucks doing the same thing too, in the Derek Trucks and the Tradisky Trucks band, so, good to see these young guys coming through, Brad and Simon, and girls doing the stuff.
Awesome. Love it. No, so this Sunday, guys, or Saturday night, wherever you may be, or Saturday morning, wherever you may be, but just make sure you click on the YouTube link, and it will tell you when we're going live in your time zone. That's a very important thing that we don't really say a lot on the channel, Andrew. If you click on the link to the show, it'll tell you what time it's actually coming on in your time zone. So there has been some confusion in the chat on the Sunday show. Oh, they start at 5:30, they start at 5, like my time. And no, it's always the designated time that we've always been, guys. So just make sure you check that so you don't miss any of the cool stuff on the show, all the chit chat and stuff. That's the funny stuff of the show. So, yeah.
Chit chat.
And the comments in the chat, that's what, be part of that. It's fun. And it's fun to watch that unravel. But yeah, guys, so that's this Sunday, and we've got a couple of really cool shows planned coming up as well, guys.
Yeah, we have. We've got a couple of shows locked in. We're going to be having a guest that's been on our channel a couple of times. Hugh Caldwell's coming on to do a Robert Cray album with us.
That'd be great.
And you're working on getting Zach on the channel, bro, for us to do Holy Diver, aren't you? So at some stage when his summer tour is over and he's a man of leisure, he's going to jump on and...
Yeah, old Zach. Yes, we're going to get him on to do Holy Diver. I love it. Yeah, no, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. Yeah. No, but check out for this week. Do your homework. Check out Philip Sayce. The Wolves Are Coming, and I might as well do a plug for him. You can go and buy his album if you really love it. Just you can go and buy it. Support the artist. I think that's a really important part of what we do on this channel is encourage people to go buy the actual hard copy of the stuff, so you've got a copy of it. I mean, you only got to look at what happened to A Different Kind of Truth with Van Halen. They pulled that down, so you can't listen to it unless you've got a hard copy of it, guys. So,
well, yeah, good point. And I'm just going to jump in and say, I heard unofficially that one of the reasons why David Lee Roth pulled it, and it was only today, so I'm sorry for distracting us away from everything that we had scripted.
Yep.
But apparently it had everything to do with the fact that David Lee Roth, from what I heard, didn't want Wolfgang Van Halen to get any rights or any monetary reimbursement from A Different Kind of Truth. That's what I heard. Not saying it's true.
I think I may have heard that rumor too, Andrew. I don't know. Seems like maybe either one or two things is happening here, and I don't want to speculate and say what I think either of them are at the moment. But if you only got something to go by with David Lee Roth's little rants about Wolfgang, then maybe that's true, Andrew. So
yeah.
Sorry to
divert the conversation, but you were on a roll, bro. You were on a roll talking about Philip and his and his album, and I suppose it's probably a good idea for us to talk about this news.
Yes.
And before you do that, Andrew, I'm just going to say hi to people in the chat because we've got 11 people. So we're out. Gret Zeppelin, Lean Van Halen. Good morning, Lean. John ZD351, Quentin James. Morning, Quentin. Greg Vanzini as well, who's strolling his way to 1,000 subscribers. He's got 970 subscribers.
That's
Please
awesome.
go and subscribe to the Great Vanzini. He needs 30 people to get to 1,000. See if I can that'll be nice. Feisty Feather. Yes, thank you. Feisty Feather. We've got as well. Gret Zeppelin and Nelson Rodriguez as well. So those are the people who made a comment. If you want to make a comment, we'll say hi. But thanks for joining us. See you all.
G'day, Lean. Good to see you, bro. So I suppose the big news for me, guys, and we've had conversations about it offline, the three of us. So obviously we're interested to hear what you guys in the chat think about this. And if you're watching on a replay, please add your comments about this. Philip becoming a endorsed artist by Paul Reed Smith, Brad.
Yes, it's big news for Philip. From my understanding, he made a connection with them, and he's really digging those guitars. He's not trying to replace his vintage Strats or his Fenders by any means, but he's embracing the new beast. And it's in his own words, it's got its own thing. It's not, it's obviously a Strat vibe guitar, but it's got its own thing. So
yeah.
Oh,
yes, right. He's right. He doesn't have it. It's not a signature guitar, is it, Brad? He's just using PRS guitars.
No, it's the obviously it's a Silver Sky, the John Mayer sort of vibe, but he's still embracing his vintage guitars. He's not putting them down and not touching them ever again. And obviously, he's still using them at every gig he does. He just did a gig 2-3 days ago, and he was using his Paul Reed Smith and his Fender. So that's at the last rehearsal.
And that's a pic there from it.
Yeah. So never fear. He's obviously not going to completely diss his Fender guitars, his old guitars, and in his own words, he's not trying to replace or whatever. He's not trying to replace his original Fender guitars. He's just embracing something different. It's a different animal, basically. That's how he's looking at it. So,
it's not. I mean, Andrew and I would talk about it just now, and I'm saying that if you've got 60-plus-year-old Strats, at some point you might not want to take them out on the road quite so frequently. And whereas a Silver Sky is a pretty ubiquitous guitar. You can get them anywhere. It's modern, robust. Without the kind of intrinsic, well, a monetary value and b sentimental value to if you've had a guitar for 30 years, I know all about that. You don't necessarily want to start wandering. I haven't got a 60-year-old guitar though, but you don't necessarily want to start wandering the world with them and having them subject to the vagaries of so and so baggage handlers and stuff. And so I can see why you might want to start leaving them at home and take a sort of modern equivalent. Sounds fine, plays really well. You could get, you can get another one anywhere, kind of thing. It all turns bad. If it breaks or somebody breaks it in transit or whatever, you could get another PRS without too much hassle, probably anywhere in the world. That's, I understand that kind of robust kind of, I'm sure you do this as well, Brad. When you gig, you take more than one guitar because you want to back. Although for years I only had one guitar, but you have more than one guitar, and you have things because you want backups and things. So when something goes wrong, you can, when your amp blows up, you can do something else.
Yeah.
So
it's a.
I understand it as a move completely. I understand it as a as a logical move. I see. If that's the way I look at it.
I think he's just comparing it to what what was out there on the market today and what he just gravitated to. Maybe they embraced him, and I think there was a bit of a collaboration. They reached out, or he reached out. I'm not sure how that happened. I think he reached out, and he just thought he'd try him out, and there he is. Is now, I mean, let's be honest. A guitarist of his stature deserves to have an endorsement with a guitar company. Let's be honest. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but it's like we look at other guitar players that are at his level, and they've got not necessarily just a signature guitar, but they're endorsed by a guitar company. So there was a while there. I think Fender were doing stuff with Philip for a while, and I think there was stuff that happened. So, I don't want to delve into that because I don't really know. It's probably not worth me saying anything there, but I think he embraced the PRS, and
I think it's an opportunity Fender lost by not accommodating him a little bit more, and obviously the big shit hit the fan, didn't it, when John Mayer came out? How many years ago now? When he came out with this guitar?
Yeah.
Was it 5 years ago?
5, 6 years. It was a while ago now. It feels like yesterday.
More than that, I think.
It's been out for a little while now. I think the stigma of that stuff has now sort of died off a bit, and it's got its own little niche now. I think, you know what I mean. That's it's obviously it's a Strat based guitar. That's that's a given. But then the next are different. I played one in a guitar shop, and it didn't feel like a Fender to me at all. It just felt like something completely different, but it had that Stratty sort of tone to it. You know what I mean? So.
I remember when this came out, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, and the controversy around it with, Fender fans obviously saying, why would you buy this when you can go and buy a Fender? And look, I understand that sentiment from people too, because, I'll always recommend somebody to go and buy a Stratocaster. I'll always say that, But, from a business perspective, Brad, I think you've hit the nail on the head. A guy of his stature, a guy that's touring regularly, a guy that plays the hell out of these guitars deserves to have some kind of endorsement deal. And look, PRS guitars, Simon, are quality guitars, aren't they? They're not Chinese junk guitars. They do have a reputation out there. So
quality.
It's whether you like the headstock or not. that's what it's going to come down to a lot of music fans, and I think a lot of young folks, a lot of young cats who are inspired by these young guys, and I call them young, even though they're getting. How old? They're knocking on 40.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still fairly young in the sense of,
They're not 80.
yeah, exactly. I've just seen John ZD351's comment. Brad has a gorilla looking after his guitars.
Don't worry.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't sort of see you as a gorilla there, John, but I wouldn't want to mess with you if I didn't know you standing there with all my guitars, mate. I wouldn't want to mess with you, mate. So. Look, I think it's a smart move for Philip because they'll embrace him. Obviously, I think the other company dropped the ball a bit with Philip, and I think maybe that's where they picked it up and run with it. But I think I think Philip deserves everything that he gets and more. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the guy's an amazing guitar player, so he deserves that. So congratulations, Philip, if you're ever watching this. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Each to your own. It's like I love Les Pauls. I've played some Les Paul based guitars that aren't Gibson. That are fantastic guitars too, but they feel like different beasts. So they still feel like a different animal. And there are other strap based body guitars that are fantastic as well. So
yeah. Well, I'm a Les Paul fan too, and but I've never liked Les Paul guitars with Epiphone heads. I just, if you're going to have an Epiphone, and I'm an Epiphone fan, the old Epiphone heads anyway. The new Les Pauls, Brad and Simon, that have got the new Epiphone heads, they're not too bad. They're okay. But finally, yeah. But if you want to get the original Epiphone heads, go and get something like a Sheraton, Brad, or a casino or something like that. That's my opinion. But I'll be interested to see what folks in the chat have to think about the PRS. Is that a rip-off, obviously, of a Stratocaster? What do you think about the heads? Have you played that guitar? What do you think of the guitar? I've only played the cheap version. I've never played the expensive version. So, yeah.
I've only ever played a very expensive version. Not of the Silver Sky. Not the Silver Sky.
I played the Silver Sky. I'm not sure which version it was, but it was not long after it came out.
ST? Oh no, that'd be the proper one.
Not long after it came out, there was one, and I tried it out. And I obviously playing it. If you're not trying to play it thinking it's a Stratocaster, it's quite a wonderful guitar. It feels nice to play and things like that. Like it's got a nice neck on it. I liked the rosewood fretboard. I really liked that. The frets on it felt good from memory, and it sounded great. It was really clear and really transparent, like the big sort of Stratty vibe tone, but it didn't feel like a Strat to me. It felt like a different guitar.
That's interesting. Even though the neck is based on his, what is it, 62, whatever it is, 64.
Which is this one, Simon? The I don't think the PRS is. I think. What do you say? Based on his 62? Oh, John
Mayer's
measurements
of his John Mayer's. Isn't that specifically his 64, whatever it was? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the specs like that. It feels different to most Strats to me, like that I've got and play. That's all. It just felt very different. Felt like I was playing a completely different guitar, But again, it had that Strat tone, and it was quality. You could pick that up, and everything seemed really well done. Even the tuning pegs on it were outstanding. I thought they were fantastic, But it is what it is, guys. It's a PRS, and I think it's lost that little stigma now that it initially came out with, and people kind of see it as its own animal a little bit. No, Andrew, you don't agree?
No, I'm not a fan of it, bro. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of, you know. And if you're watching and you do have a PRS, you know, fine, you know, because our channel's about being positive as well. But you know, sometimes you got to say whether you dig something or you don't dig something, and you know, I'm not a fan of it. I'd go and look. I'd go and buy a Stratocaster any day, every day of the week.
Fair enough. There's, like I said, there's no right or wrong, and there's, you know, in saying that, I just think, you know, Philip deserves the opportunity for a guitar company to embrace him and, you know, make him
think,
part of a, you know,
do you think
endorsement
he'll
deal.
get a signature guitar, Brad? Do you think PRS will give him a signature guitar?
I think he deserves one, but whether they do or not,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of young cats playing blues now because of Philip Sayce. You know, a lot of young cats at the moment are running around saying Philip Sayce is their idol, their hero, their this or that. That's so cool, you know. And I think yeah, you got to look at the amount of views and everything he gets and listens on Spotify and that to see the proofs in the pudding. So, you know,
He's one of those. He's one of those post Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of modern blues players, isn't he? That's taking it forward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if a guitar company came to me and said, "Oh, can you play this Les Paul style guitar, and we'll put, you know, we'll endorse you for it," I'd seriously consider it if it was a good quality product.
Of course you would. And,
Yeah.
and that's the point
yeah.
that we made earlier. From a business perspective, you can understand why, because these guys, you know, aren't making a lot of money by selling records. Brad and Simon, you know, they get what, 3 cents a year from Spotify.
Yeah, it's terrible. 3 cents per stream. No, it's actually 0.3 cents, Andrew. So
Yeah, 0.
it's horrible. You know, like you think to yourself, back in the day when people would sell records and they'd go platinum, they actually probably made some money. It's like Snoop Dogg now goes, "I've had billions of streams on my songs. Where's my $1 billion?" You know?
Yeah,
You should be
those
getting
days
more
are gone, aren't they? Clearly,
yeah.
those days
So
are definitely.
I think
Those days are definitely gone. As a thing
anyone that
mentioned.
embraces an artist and wants to give them things or look after them or help promote them or whatever it may be, then so be it. You know, PRS has
Couple of
got
cool.
a great name and they've got some great quality guitars. So, you know,
Yeah.
PRS came to me and said, "Brad, we want you to play a Les Paul style guitar we've got here, single cutaway, blah, 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 like they used to make, and we're going to endorse you. Would you play it?" I go, "My oath, I would."
Yeah.
You know,
There's a couple of cool comments in the chat here. Epiphone's getting too expensive by Gretsch Zeppelin. That's a show in itself, Gretsch Zeppelin, but I totally agree with you. Certainly the last 7 months, we've seen significant price rises in Epiphone guitars. And Great Vanzini, Brad and Simon's played the SE version. And it seems to be slightly compressed tone compared, I think, to a Stratocaster. I think that's what he's saying there. And of course, John, our brother, is saying his his Stratty guitars. I said shitty. I didn't mean that. His Stratty. Sorry, bro. His Stratty guitars look proper Stratty, and the PRSs look close but not close enough. Yeah, and I dig it. So yeah, I dig it.
That's fair enough too. Each to their own, guys. You know, and it's not like he's not embracing his vintage guitars anymore either. He's still using them. He recorded the whole album with his vintage guitars as we know them. So, you know,
it feels like they're alive. They're a live tool, doesn't it? It feels like that actually they're a live tool.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's a pic there from a gig from 6 days ago where he's got his PRS and his and 2 Fender Strats that he's playing. So you're right, Brad. You know, he's using them in conjunction with the Strats.
That's it. So it's not like, I think you know, it is what it is, guys. He's embraced them, so that's great for him. You know, I'm happy for him in a sense because he deserves it. I've seen that.
Yeah, I know. Same here, bro. I'm in the same boat.
You could almost say the same about guys like, that are here in Australia that get thrown a guitar that's like a solid body guitar, like a Les Paul style guitar. Doesn't look like a Les Paul, sounds like it. It's an Australian made company, and they're pushing their artists. So if you're a Les Paul player, why wouldn't you take it up? It is what it is. So,
Well,
yeah.
this is a great segue into the next part of the show. You want to mention some information about a guy that recorded a great album with a guitar that looked like a Les Paul but wasn't a Les Paul. So, and then went on, to become an endorsed artist by
Paul.
Gibson, bro.
Well, I mean, look, that's Slash from Guns N' Roses recorded "Appetite for Destruction" with a non-genuine Les Paul. You know what I mean? And that became the Appetite Les Paul, which everyone knows really well. And Gibson, now is endorsed by Gibson, made an Appetite model based on an inferior copy of their guitar. So, I mean, just full circle. It is what it is. But the builder was great. But I wanted to, congratulate Slash of Guns N' Roses as well for releasing his first single off his long-awaited, overdue blues album called Orgy of the Damned, which is coming out on the 17th of May, which is going to be awesome to hear him playing a blues record. He's got a number of fantastic artists on there. Paul Rogers, Brian Johnson, Billy Gibbons, Chris Robinson, Beth Hart, Tash Neal, Gary Clark Jr., just to name a few. There's singers and other artists on there. That album will be phenomenal. And I've heard, I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet, but there's a single out already on Spotify and on streaming platforms. And on YouTube, he's got a clip up of Killing Floor, with Brian Johnson. Yeah. And it's great to hear it. Brian Johnson's not trying to sing like he's in AC/DC. He's trying to keep it a little bit more traditional. And Slash is playing a little bit bluesier, less rock, which is, we all know Slash is a blues rock guitar player, but he's in the past, I mean, that's what he grew up listening to and gravitating to, was the blues. So is it a career move moving forward as part of his life? I think we could almost dedicate a whole show to that as well. But I think it's a very smart move. In the 90s, if you follow Slash like I have, he used to do a live show called Slash's Blues Ball, and he used to just jam all blues standards like this. So he's come full circle. A little bit of downtime, and Gibson Records or whatever they're called, they must have offered him some studio time. He went, you know what? I'm going to finally put this blues album out I've been trying to do for 20 years, since the 90s, late 90s. So why not? I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen to it, but if you have, I'd love to hear what you think. And anyone in the chat, if you listen to it, tell us what you think. I think it's a wonderful performance. It's got Steven Tyler on harmonica, and that's special in itself. And Slash is playing phenomenally well on it. Yeah.
So, it's interesting, isn't it, that so your view is that Guns N' Roses is a kind of finite thing. You get to a certain age, it's not really
not necessarily, Andrew, but I can't see Axl Rose singing "Welcome to the Jungle" at 70 years of age. Or in his
not long.
project. I mean, he does a great job. Don't get me wrong, but there comes a time in a musician's career when you start thinking, about longevity. And even though he's a rock guitarist, he's started off with the blues. And like Gary Moore, for example, he went back to the blues. There's no problem with that, in my opinion, for a guitarist to do that. And moving forward, no matter what he's doing, whether it's Guns N' Roses, Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, or if he's guesting with people. I guess the way I look at it, he used to guest on a lot of people's records, and now he's just getting people to guest on his, doing stuff he loves. So,
Yeah.
because for a while there, he's pretty much on everyone's record. Michael Jackson, Lenny Kravitz, Carole King, you name it, he was playing on their record.
Dylan, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know what you guys think about that, but you guys seem to be a bit quiet on this one, so I don't know what your thoughts are.
Oh, no, I've got plenty to say. Yeah, no,
Oh.
I've got plenty to say. I think it's a smart move and it's a great move, and I'm excited. I think he's going to do really, really well with this concept, this idea, and this band, because you've nailed it all. He's got pedigree, he's got history in this music. It's not as if he's just like, oh, I'll go and do this because this is something new to do, which it is. But it goes back to him. When you read his biography, he's very clear when he was learning the guitar. Jeff Beck was his huge influence. And all of Jeff Beck's early stuff he was listening to. He was an expert on Jeff Beck. He was a walking encyclopedia on the guy. So I think it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for us to rank that album when it comes out, fresh, hot, new.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of momentum it gathers. But I think he'll do well. Whether he tours with this, I don't know. It'll be pretty hard for him to do that if it's going to be a guest album, as Brad was saying, with a lot of different people. But he'll definitely take some part of this out on the road, bro. Guaranteed.
100%. I think he's put together a festival called Serpent, which is all blues. I think it's called Serpent. Someone might be able to actually correct me on that if they know better than me. In the chat, but I saw it advertised on Instagram, Facebook today, that he's got a festival going. Here it is, Serpent. I'm just looking at it now. It's got Warren Haynes Band, Keb Mo, Lincoln Poe, Kingfish, Samantha Fish, ZZ Ward, Robert Randolph, Eric Gales, Jackie Benson. They're the ones that have been listed already on the festival. So
phenomenal already.
Yeah, so it's definitely a tactical move, guys. And there's a bunch of dates here for this festival, Celebration of Blues. So it's a festival called the Celebration of Blues. Of the blues.
And that Larkin Poe duet between those two women, they're fantastic.
Yeah. So I think it's a really, really cool move for Slash, regardless of what he's doing. And if Guns N' Roses can keep doing it when they're 80, that's great. But either way, he'll be still pumping out tunes because we all know he's sober. And he's addicted to his guitar. He needs to keep himself busy. He's probably one of the busiest working musicians in rock at the moment, because the minute he's off the road with one band, he's on the road with another, so.
Yep. Exciting times. I can't wait. To see how this is going to pan out. Get one of these older statesman guys that have been around the block a few times, playing some blues, giving some of these young cats a bit of a run for the money, Brad and Simon. So Billy Gibbons, Brad's mentioned incredible host of guests on that album, guaranteed to be great.
Yeah, look, and either way, it's just great to hear Slash playing these songs as well. I'm a massive Slash fan, so he was a hero of mine, from one of the main reasons I play guitar. So for him to do a blues record is right up my alley. I love it. It's fantastic.
Fantastic, bro. Thank you for that update and info, and we'll keep you guys up to date with any information on this project on the channel as it comes through. Brad especially will keep you alerted, because go and check out that number that Brad mentioned that he's doing with Johnson. It's just it knocked me for 6. Brian sounds good.
Oh yeah, he's got that sort of lower register that's really cool. I love that.
Sounds good. Yeah. Fantastic, bro. Thank you for that. Rock Professor, what curious bit of archaeology have you been doing
Right.
that's apparently going to be mind-blowing?
Well, like, and I've never spotted this before. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if someone like Great Manzini spotted it before. But we've all heard of we all know who Fats Domino is. Yes,
Yeah.
Fats Domino. Great. So we also know who Chubby Checker is, don't we?
Yes.
Now, had you realised that Fats Domino and Chubby Checker are the same name? Two different things. Chubby, Fats, Domino, Checkers. Did you realise that before?
No.
Repeat that again. You've lost me. Sorry.
So Fats Domino and Chubby Checker are the same name. They're made up of the Fats and Chubby, clearly,
Yes.
and Dominoes and Checkers. So they're, board game things.
Wow.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
See?
Yes.
Yeah, but you never realised that Fats Domino and Chubby were exactly the same name. There you are. That's amazing, isn't it? I've looked at that for, known them
Fats
names all my
Domino,
life.
Chubby Checkers.
It's the same name.
Oh, wow.
So there we are. That Great Manzini. It's amazing, isn't it, Great Manzini? I've never realised that until a week or so. It was pointed out. I was listening to it. It was pointed out. It funny is. I thought there's a little nugget for the show, definitely. Oh dear. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a bit of fun. Yeah,
What about John's cousin, Podgy Marshall?
Mahjong, yeah, see. There we are. I'm on that bonk. Yes. The other thing I've been that made me laugh was there's a song called "Flowers in the Rain" by an English group called The Move, and it was the first. Its claim to fame was the first single ever played on Radio 1 by Tony Blackburn in 1967, and but the backstory to it is quite extraordinary in that the band's manager Tony Secunda did a promotional stunt for it, and he had printed some postcards which was a cartoon of the then Prime Minister Harold Wilson. Remember Harold Wilson with the pipe, and you won't. Brad won't know who he is, but Andrew might know. He had a pipe and a Mac, and kind of very sort of avuncular figure but had a cartoon of him naked with his then secretary Marcia Williams. Now, so this went around. So he sued, right? He sued in the High Court, and the High Court ordered that all royalties from the song be donated to a charity of Wilson's choice. So from 1967 to now, all the royalties from Flowers in the Rain have gone to various Harold Wilson's charities. So Roy Wood, the man who wrote it, has seen not a penny from the song he wrote due to this risque postcard that was produced by their manager as a promotional thing. So that went well then, didn't it? Lost everything. Extraordinary. Can you imagine this postcard circulating of Harold Wilson, the then Prime Minister, naked with his secretary Marcia Williams? Amazing. It's the strange old world, the 60s British pop world, a strange old world. You get into these little corners of crazy stuff. It's amazing.
You couldn't imagine the Glimmer Twins partying with the scent on any of their songs. You could imagine Keith Richards and Mick Jagger doing time, Brad. Rather than pay royalties for.
There's that famous story of the Verve song, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's not, and they said, we'll have 50% royalties. And he said, what, 50% to the Stones and 50% to me? They said, no, 50% to Keith Richards and 50% to Mick Jagger.
You're not getting a cent. You're not getting a cent, buddy.
And for years, Richard Ashcroft never got a cent. I think he does now, but I think they did some deal. But for years, he didn't get a cent from it either.
15 years, he got nothing.
Yeah, they got nothing at all.
What a great video that was. Do you remember the video where he's walking down the street and he's just banging into people with his leather jacket on? And, I remember at the time watching that thinking, shit, I'd love to do that. I'd love to just... They did that well because the way that he was whacking into those guys, there was a bit of force there.
It is. Oh yeah, it's a great record and a great video as well. Yeah, I know, weird, the wacky world of rock and roll.
Only in rock and roll.
Only in rock and roll, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of that. It's what you were describing earlier, the sort of Van Halen thing. Different. I'm taking it down so he doesn't get anything.
That's ludicrous, but anyway, yeah.
From the outside, you go, right, okay. Oh dear.
That's right.
I do anyway.
I just want to do a shout out, guys, to Arvin while I remember. Arvin sent me a message. He picked up a new guitar a couple of days ago. He picked up a Epiphone Firebird and is amazed.
Nice.
Amazed by the quality and the way that it plays, and
awesome.
I think the version of those inspired by Gibson guitars when they came out a couple of years ago, Brad and Simon, they were good value guitars, but I think if you go and buy them now, you're going to be paying a lot of money for them, because it's the way that I think Gibson are marketing Epiphone now. Not as a budget guitar brand, but more of a standalone quality brand, Brad and Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? That yes, they've kind of, but they've kind of moved away from the budget guitar market, haven't they? I mean, as you say, they seem to be moving Epiphone out of that into sort of mid-range stuff, and not into not have a lower end brand, really. I don't know. And recently we've seen them actually do Epiphone with with Gibson headstocks and stuff, haven't we? So as if I don't know if they feel that actually that moving up and then kind of creating a bit of a that bit of a gap, so that if you buy an Epiphone Les Paul, it's an Epiphone Les Paul. It might have been inspired by Les Paul, so there's no licensing issues, but start to become more of its own thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and look, I know that it comes down to budget for a lot of guys, as it should do. The Epiphone version of the Greenie here in New Zealand is $2,500, Brad. It's one of the most expensive Epiphones I've ever seen. Epiphone, the standard 59 Epiphone that you can get here in New Zealand is under $1,000, Brad and Simon. So my argument would be, why would you put $2,500 to an Epiphone when that's half the price of a Gibson?
That sort of thing to me is, what definitely comes into equation for me, because I'm not made of money. So if I was going to spend that sort of dollars, I'd want to buy something that would hold its value. Not saying that an Epiphone won't, but you can rest assured, you buy a Gibson in 10 years' time, you'll sell it for roughly what you bought it for or more. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I don't know. Epiphone to me was, as a growing up, guitar player that could, I struggled to be able to afford my first real guitar, US made guitar. You know what I mean? I saved and sold and did everything I could to get there. But I always saw Epiphone, like Squire, like that cheaper range that could get you in the ballpark for a beginner or for someone who wanted that shape, didn't want to spend the money. That's what I always thought it was, but I never thought Epiphone would become something that would, be $2.5K to buy a guitar. That's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to knock the
£1,500,
guitar. I'm not here to knock it either. So I'm saying if you've got one, I'm sure it's a wonderful guitar. I'm sure it is, but I would struggle to spend that sort of money because I haven't got the spare money to buy that. That's all I'm saying for that sort of car. You can buy a secondhand Les Paul, probably around the same dollars, and do the
exactly. You can get a secondhand Les Paul for a couple of $100 more than that 2.5, and have a real Gibson, in my opinion. So I think you've hit the nail on the head. But when you look at, so for example, that Epiphone Firebird that came out, that Arvin's got, that here in New Zealand was about $1,600, Brad. So that's not bad. That's not bad for a Chinese-made guitar. You're not paying a lot of money, and it's wasn't a bolt-on neck. It was, neck through. But Hugh Goodwill's saying buy authentic. G'day, bro. Good to see
Morning,
you.
Hugh. That'd be good. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking there while you were talking. You could buy a Epiphone for £479, £400. Epiphone Les Paul Classic, £449, which is a pretty good deal, really. So in that. And the Firebird is about. I just saw one for sale about $650.
Yeah, good value. Good value.
Which is still pretty good value, I think, for one of those. But
Hugh, I'm glad you're here, bro, because we thought we'd do that Robert Cray record not this Sunday, our time, because the Rock Professors got a party to go to. Brad and I are going to be doing an album together. But we thought maybe, Hugh, next weekend, if you're up for it, we can do that Robert Cray album. I'll flick you a message, but we'll give you a heads up here now while you're in the chat, bro.
Yeah, that would be a great album to do.
That time you got up early, Hugh.
We said that we were going to go live for an hour. We're 53 minutes, guys. We're on target for he's saying sure. We'll lock it in. I'll do a show card and I'll put it up on the channel after I've had some dinner.
Awesome. Looking forward to that, Hugh. Looking forward to that. That'd be great.
Thank you, Brad, for letting us know what was happening with Slash in particular. You'll keep us, no doubt, up to play with what's happening with that. If you can, I'd be grateful. And obviously, Philip Sace, you and I are going to be coming back. Now, because the Rock Professor's not here, you and I will probably do that show in 20 minutes.
Oh.
Ooh. Catty. Saucer of milk for Mr. Moulton.
I don't know what he's trying to say there, Simon.
Neither do I. He's trying to suggest, frankly, erroneously, that I'm the one who talks too much to make sure the show's 2 hours. Slur on my character. Morning, Paulie Walnuts.
No, I'm just teasing. But Brad and I are going to be doing the hard yards or the Rock Professors partying. And we'll be back the following week with Hugh, our brother, who's done a couple of albums with us. So we look forward to that. The album that we're doing is... Oh, gosh. If you guys want to go and check it out, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. What was that, Simon? His fourth or his fifth album?
Fifth one, I think.
Came out in 1988, folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
No, time's running away, guys, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh man, I know. I know.
Yeah, fit home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, looking forward to that. Looking forward to having Hugh back on the channel.
And I've
Yeah.
got to do something else too, guys. Paulie Walnuts is on our channel here. Paulie, can you do me a favour? Can you flick me a message with your channel so I can put your channel up on our channels page? Paulie's going to join the Van Halen guys eventually. We're planning to do a show talking about the new Van Halen Sammy Hagar albums, and Paulie's going to join us when we talk about Brad's favourite Van Halen album, Carnal Knowledge.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's my favourite. Yeah, I love it. Oh, also, just quickly on another topic, congratulations to Lenny Kravitz for getting on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah, so
Good
there you
work.
go.
Oh, and
There
his
you
guitar
go.
player, Craig, celebrated his birthday too.
Craig Ross, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Craig Ross is right up there for me as well. Another hero of mine, you know. Another reason I play guitar the way I do. So happy birthday, Craig. Well done. Well done.
Are you going my way?
Yes. Yes.
Nice. That's pretty cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
outstanding
Martini's
guitar
been
player.
rather Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you know, Craig Ross is very underrated for, you know, the stuff he does. I think he's an amazing guitar player.
If you guys are watching on a replay, and even if you guys here in the chat, if you're interested in Lenny Kravitz, we've done a couple of shows about him on the channel, Brad and I. There's a couple. Go and have a look. Search Lenny Kravitz here on the channel. We did a Bro Down special about Lenny Kravitz. Brad gave a pretty good history of Lenny's solo career. Go and check it out. Blew me away. I thought I knew a little bit about Lenny, but
Lenny's dating habits.
Yeah, we'll keep the gutter talk down to a minimum. On
Keep
that.
to the guitars. Keep to the guitars. Focus.
He's a hound. He's a hound, isn't he? He's a hound for women, that guy.
Hey, let's give the guy credit where credit's due. Look at him, yeah. For his age, he's doing all right, guys.
He's not bad, bro.
You know,
He's not bad.
Whatever he's doing to look after himself, you know what I mean?
Knock it off, Lenny. Knock it off.
Just, you know what I mean? You know, I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks, Paulie.
Hey, it ain't over till it's over, you know.
You got it, bro. Yeah. Can I? Oh, while we're on Lenny Kravitz, I've got to tell you. Okay, so I'm up. I'm flicking, the channels in between sports channels. Anyway, Angel Heart came on. Angel Heart, and that was the movie with Robert De Niro and his girlfriend at the time. Do you remember her? She was off the Cosbys.
The mother of his daughter. We're all getting old.
Yeah. And I remember watching that for about half an hour. Gosh, she was young.
Lisa Bonet. Yep. John.
That's it.
Yep. John just put it up. Lisa Bonet. Yep.
Yeah, Lisa Bonet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Quite attractive.
Oh.
Quite attractive.
Lenny now, easy, Tiger.
Yeah, take it easy, Tiger. Hey,
all right.
Pipe down, Marcus.
Although she was born in 1967.
So, and that movie came out in 1985, so she would have been just over 20, 23, 24 when that movie came out.
Yeah. Well, they're all aging pretty well, considering, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We're out of here?
Right.
Let's
Gotta
go
to work.
Oh, okay. Someone's got to go. Someone's got to go to work.
You can go to work.
No.
I've just got home from work, so
Yeah, that's
enjoy
right,
it.
yeah. Back to work after 10 days off, so it's
Oh.
got to go pile through a
Oh.
lot of emails and nonsense. But,
All right. Thank you, Rock Professor. Thank you, Brad.
no worries.
Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. We'll see
Have a
you
good one
back
on
here on the
Sunday.
channel
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Thanks, everyone.